Hello again, this is the Zoosh Custom Shop here. Okay, this is the third part to my Punisher Tokyo Marine 1911 custom build project. As you can see, the frame is now pretty much complete. So far what I've done to it is I've added the TSC flared magwell, which I mentioned in the previous video. They're pretty good. I may have mentioned this on another video to do with my Street Kings one, when my original one that I bought, which was black, I fitted to that. I've since replaced that with a Nova S&A Smith & Alexander magwell, which is the correct one to that particular pistol, and should be the correct one to this pistol as well, but as I said in the previous video, funds haven't allowed and I've had to use this one. But what I was coming to is the gap between the bottom of the grip safety and the top of the mainspring housing is rather excessive. I've noticed this on both of these magwell and mainspring housing setups now by TSC. For some reason their mouldings create quite a large gap. I don't know if you can see it on there, but a lot of dirt and muck will get in there if you're going to use it as a skirmish pistol. So be careful with these. They are cheap, or cheaper. I won't say cheap because they're not that cheap. I think this one came to about 30 odd quid, I think it was, just over 30 quid. So they're good, don't get me wrong, they do work. The only other thing, as I said, I've had to file out the mainspring pin hole in order to get that to slide through okay. But other than that, they work. They do the job. I mean, the funneling on the magwell is very, very good. Another little tip I would give, which I have yet to do on this, is if you're using as your base gun the standard 1911 A1, then you'll need to file the bottom inside edge of the magwell, or the chute for the mag to go in. Because although this is fluted, the magwell extended magwell that you've put on, this TSC one or the Nova one if you use the correct one, they'll still need to be sanded down to the frame in order to get it to, you know, nicely fit in there. So, but other than that, it works. If you're using the MEU one, you don't have to worry because that's already filed out, so you don't have to worry about that. Mind you, if you, again on a side note here, but if you are using the MEU as your base gun, you'll need to change the slide to the standard 1911 A1 slide, because the cock inserations have to be upright as per the one in the film, which are straight up and down, not slanted like the MEU one is. So that creates problems in itself if you're using the MEU as your base gun, but never mind, swings and roundabouts on both of them. Okay, so there you go, the frame is pretty much complete. I've sprayed it black. There was nothing else really to be done to it. I've filled the markings on the side. You can leave them if you want, you don't have to fill them. I filled them because, well, it's something I do on most of the pistols that I use or for my projects. So yes, I've done that. All of the rest of the 1911 A1 parts have been taken off, other than the mag catch. That can stay the same, there's no difference. The trigger, as I mentioned in the previous video, is the Garda trigger, but again, if you're using the MEU as your base gun, you can get away with using the MEU trigger. So as I said, there's swings and roundabouts for using whichever base gun for this project. The other thing is the grips on the 1911 A1 are better suited to this project than the MEU grips, the fake Pachmayr ones. Reason being, the grips that are on the pistol in the film are Colt's own grips that are got their label on there, but the ones that come with the 1911 A1 have got no circle on there. But I'm not really worried about that. Or you could go even one better and buy a set of Punisher grips and fit them to them, which I'm thinking of fitting to these actually. But then again, the film didn't have them, so it swings and roundabouts. It's up to you. Okay, moving on. The tangs on the frame have been ground down to accept an MEU style single speed bump, or palm swell, whatever you want to call it, grip safety. It's been sanded down because originally this was black. I could use the Garda one, which I think I did mention in the first video I did. I was thinking about using the Garda one. The reason why I haven't used Garda ones in the past for other projects and only ever stuck with the TM standard ones is because I've noticed the upsweep of the actual beaver tail for the grip safety is too harsh on the Garda ones. It's up here somewhere. It literally comes up here. And also the amount of filing you have to do to the pins on the inside back edge of this are excessive. Now I know, if you're gunsmithing, there's all things you have to do, but at the end of the day, the TM1 works. You only have to sand it down, give it a coat of white. I hence white, because if you're going to use silver spray on the top, white undercoat is better. It'll give it more of a luster, which it does, as you can see. You can use black undercoat if you want, but it will just dull it down and it will look grey more than silver. Yeah, so as I say, I use the TM1 because it works, and it's straight out of the box. There's no fiddling and arsing around with filing or anything. It just works straight off. The only thing I've had to file, as I say, is the tangs on the frame. So yeah, so it works. Okay, the hammer is a standard 4.3 hammer, which I've polished, and I've used. Actually, I'll show you that now, if it's here, which it is. I've used this, which is Autosol polish, metal polish. You can use an equivalent, but I've always found Autosol to be about the best. This is their standard one. There are other grades. It works exceptionally well with a cloth to polish these up, to do the finish polish on them. Yeah, it works very, very well indeed, and that's even on pot metal. Mind you, saying that, I did try and polish up this originally using this. It didn't work. The pot metal was too dull and it just would not polish up. But for some unknown reason, the metal they use on the hammers does. Don't know why, just seems to. Very strange, but it does. So it's obviously a different grade of pot metal. Maybe it's a different manufacturer that make these component parts compared to these for Tokyo Marine. Anyway, moving on. The original grips from the 1911A1 have been sprayed black, but otherwise just left the same. And now, just as a final finishing touch to the frame, and to help out one of my viewers who's having problems with a similar ambi thumb safety, is the King's ambi thumb safety, which comes with the MEU, the TM MEU. Now, to fit it, and something you must realise if you want to use this particular ambi safety, you must have this. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's got what they term as a captured head hammer pin, which is where it protrudes out of the right hand side. If you're looking from the rear, the right hand side of the frame. You do need that in order to get this particular thumb safety to work. The same, I believe, goes for the Nova Kimber style thumb safety. It has the same captured head hammer pin. So yeah, so that's the only way it will work. If you haven't got that and you're using the original pins, as soon as you put that on, it will just fall off, because there's nothing there to attach it to. It hasn't got the arm that sticks out there that gets trapped behind the right hand grip, like you have on the 5.1 and others that comes with the high capper and so forth. So yes, so as I say, you do need to make sure that if you do get this particular thumb safety, that it comes with that pin. If you don't get the pin with it, then ask why, because it won't work. Simple as that. I believe Garda, and there are a couple of other manufacturers, but I can't think their names off the top of my head. I think Tanya Cobra as well might do these pins as upgrade parts, i.e. genuine steel pins. So you can always buy them as an upgrade part if it comes without that pin. But as I say, it's aggro for you, because you've got a safety you can't use unless you buy the upgrade bits. Anyway, okay, so let's fit it. First things first, pull your hammer into the on position. Your knocker valve, I always make a habit of pushing it down. thereby the spring and everything else in there is already preset, so it's as if it would be firing. That way, when this side slots in, the little actuator that's on the inside of your left hand part of your ambi thumb safety will seat itself correctly. I know that doesn't affect anything really in there, but I've always done it. It's just something I do. I mean, you can leave the knocker valve up if you want, but at least this way you'd know when that goes in, it's going in correctly. Okay, first things first, let's locate the captured head end into the other side of your ambi thumb safety. So you just literally push that in, so it's like that, and then push it all the way through, if it will go through. This is quite tight actually, this one. I noticed that when I dry fitted it earlier on. It is very, very tight. He says, actually, for some reason that's not going to go through. You know, this always happens. In rehearsals it works fine, but when you come to do it yourself, it doesn't want to. There we go, there we go. Right, okay. Right, if I show you that again, what you have to do is line it like that, so you can just see that it's near enough in line with this, and then you just push it on, it goes into the hole, and that's locked into position now, or will be. Lift it up, so that when you attach the other side, which again is another thing you guys might not know, but these MEU safeties come with a tiny piece of metal that goes or slots into the crosshead slot that joins the two halves together. If you're missing that piece of metal, then there's a problem, because they don't interlock like the other ones do. So you do need that piece of metal. So when you ever strip your pistol down, whether you've got the MEU or whatever, and it's got this safety on it, make sure you don't lose that bit of metal. If you do, well, you don't really have to worry about it too much, because a little piece of aluminium or steel or whatever you can cut, slot in, glue, and you're away again. But otherwise, make sure that you don't lose that bit of metal in there. Okay, so there you go. So you've pushed it up into that position on the other side. Then you push in like so, so it lines up. And once you've got that in position, what you then need to do, if I can find my fine screwdriver, which I can't. Wait, there we go. Right, okay. What you then need to do is your plunger tube, the locating pin at the thumb safety end, will need to be pushed in order to get that to drop into position. So you've lined it through, as you can see it's lined through, they're definitely going to connect when they go in. So you just literally push your fine screwdriver or piece of metal or whatever in there, push against the pin, so as you can see it goes in, then push together, let go of the pin, and that's it. Your ambi safety is in position then. Take it off, that's it, it all works, you know it works, hammer works, check the half cock position, yeah, that works, although to be quite honest you don't need the half cock position. I believe I have detailed how to get rid of that position, which is immaterial for an airsoft gun. You don't really need it. In fact, it can prove a bit of a headache sometimes if it only ever goes into that position and won't fire. Anyway, it's on one of my other videos. Okay, fully cocked. Let's see if the safety works. Push it up into the safe position. That's not all the way up. As you can see, you can just see the other side of the ambi. Yeah, that's locked. It's not going to fire. And it works fine. This also checks that your grip safety is working as well. Okay, so there you go. That's the frame, all done. I'll just take you over the details of the TSC part again. When you're fitting this, fit the mainspring section first, the mainspring housing section first. Get it all in position. Once it's all in position, i.e. the mainspring pin is pushed through and in position, then attach the magwell funnel. It's a lot easier to do it that way. I tried fitting it with this attached. It's more aggro than anything else. TSC do supply a little Allen key for the 2 Allen key screws at the bottom. So yeah, don't worry about, oh my god, where am I going to get an Allen key from for these? Don't worry, it comes with one, which is very handy. So yeah, so when you're doing it also, what you might want to do is when you screw those 2 screws in, is use this Bond lock. I think Loctite do one. Actually, this might be by Loctite. I don't think so. No, it isn't. It's just by Bond Lock. It's another brand name. All it is a thread lock and seal. So it just makes sure that those stay in position and won't undo through vibration or time or whatever. So it just helps to seal those in. So all you do is when the screws are out, you just put a tiny little blob of that on. Make sure it's well mixed. I shake the bottle up first. Little blob on the threads. Screw it in. Leave it once it's tight, and only do it so that it's just, so as you're tightening it up, it's like just a little bit of tightness. You don't need an awful lot. Don't go trying to crank it right up, because all you do is you'll strip the Allen key heads, and not only that, you might even strip the blooming threads. So the amount of times I see people really putting pressure on, you don't have to. It only needs to be finger tight, especially if you're using a thread lock, because that's doing the job for you, really. That's keeping them in place. You don't have to really tighten them up. So okay, so there we go. So that's the frame. I haven't mated them together yet, but that will be in the next part of the video. The project itself so far has turned out better than I expected. Oh, by the way, the ambi safety, again the same as the grip safety, was sanded down. In fact, this was one that was donated by a friend of mine. Thanks again, Chris. So yeah, so it was originally a Garda part, but actually thinking about it now, I think it was Nova actually, because it was a good quality steel. So Gardas are a little bit shaky on their steel that they use. So I think this one was a Nova part now. But I since sanded it down, sprayed it white with white undercoat, and then top sprayed it with ordinary silver car spray. And it's turned out lovely, as you can see. It does look the part. So yeah, so I may not swap that out for a Garda one. Originally, as I say, I was going to swap both of these parts out for Gardas, although these grip safeties I'm not very happy with, Garda ones, but their ambi thumb safeties are quite good. But in the end, I didn't, so I've left it as it is. So as I say, the frame works very well. It all functions fine. The trigger works okay. All the internals are pretty good. So now all it comes is in the next part is to mate the frame and the slide together. At the moment, the frame is in pieces because it's being sprayed, and a few sections of filler are being added here and there. I think I did mention that on the back of the compensator there was tiny little holes that needed filling. They've got to be slightly more filler put in them. The cock inserations to the front I've done. They are complete, and I'm getting better and better at doing those all the time. Mind you, doing the straight ones is a lot easier than doing the slanted ones, if you know what I mean. The ones on the High Kappa 5.1 are really difficult because they're quite fine, but the ones on the 1911A1 are quite wide apart, so they're easier to do with a triangular needle file and a hacksaw. This is a technique I'll have to put in another video, I think, to show you guys out there how to do it, because it's not as difficult as you think, and it comes with practice as well. So I mean, that's why I never ever throw out any of my cut in half slides or whatever, because because I use them to do practice on, so I can practice doing the cock inserations and so forth. I mean, I've come a long way since I started my very first custom project, which was the Les Bayer Premier 2 that I did. That was using a High Kappa 5.1 slide, and as I said previously, the lines for the cock inserations were so close together, it was really hard to be able to do them. But these ones for the 1911A1 are a lot easier because they're wider apart. And as I say, I'm mastering it, getting there slowly. But you'll see all this anyway in the next video, because that's when I'll mate the two halves together and see if they dry fire. If they dry fire, then it's all systems go. But at the moment, that's in the future, so we just have to wait and see. So as I say, the project itself is looking good. All the components are complete now, pretty much. So stay tuned for the fourth part to this ongoing series, and well, hopefully it will turn out okay. Okay, this is Lazouche Custom Shop signing off.